Hello and welcome to today's video, which is going to be our hobby hangout video. I'm 40K painter, and today I'm going to be showing you a mixture of models. We are going to do a bit of painting, and we're going to do some assembly and see how it goes, basically. Just a reminder that I am very new to this hobby, and these videos are not meant for people who have been involved in Warhammer 40k or the various other Games Workshop games for a long while. These videos are documenting my journey as I learned to play this game and learn to build the models and etc. And hopefully for other novices like myself to be able to follow along and hopefully learn something. And maybe I'll learn something from your chat comments, and see how we get on and make our models. So please hit the notification and the subscribe buttons, and like and share. Thank you very much. So let's crack on. So let's start building our first model. So this model is, as you can see on the screen here, this is a Librarian Space Marine in Terminator armor. This model is in the Combat Patrol, Space Marine Combat Patrol box. I've received it as part of a subscription to the Combat Patrol magazine, where they send you out models. So it's a little bit, it's going to be a little bit tricky to film this because the instructions are spread out over several pages and they're quite big, so I'm not going to be able to fit them all on, but it is pretty basic. Here's the spruce. There aren't many parts to it, so we'll just work our way, and you can see here each part has a number. So this part here, number 2. So as we look at the instructions, we'll see the parts numbered. We will cut the relevant part out from the sprue. Now I'm using these snips. They are quite sharp, as you can see, so be careful of your fingers if you are doing this. Young children should always be supervised by a sensible adult, and perhaps do the cutting for them. Some of these models require glue. Some of them are push fit. So for glue today, I have Citadel's miniature plastic glue. Comes in this little pot. Peel the tip off. It's got this little metal nib here, which will help you guide the glue into the right place. It's important that you don't put too much glue on, because the way that plastic glue works is that it will partially melt and dissolve the plastic at the glue points. So, and then the two pieces will bond, and as it hardens again, they'll stick together. So the good thing about this is you cannot glue your fingers together, unlike super glue. But the downside to this is if you put too much on, then you run the risk of damaging the detail of the model, because it will melt, and you can lose some of the very fine detail on the model. And if you're going to pay a lot of money to have one of these models, then you don't want to be melting away all the detail, because at the end of the day you're paying for that detail. So let's crack on. So the first thing we're going to do, according to the instructions, is we are going to take piece number 1 and piece number 3 and assemble them. So let's find those and cut them out. Now this is the bit that I am a bit slow at, but that's piece number 1. One thing when using these snips, you'll see that they are beveled you want to put the flat side against the piece that you want to keep, and put the hollow side, for want of a better word, on the wasted bit, because otherwise you won't be able to cut them snugly. And that. So let's try that again. Doesn't want to cut. There you go. So that is part number 1. Let's find part number 3, which looks like a foot, and that's this part here. Trying to keep this in view of the video is quite tricky. Okay, so we have our 2 separate parts, and if we follow them, we can see where they're supposed to go together. So we want that facing that way, that facing that way, and we can see there's the little hole and the little sort of sticky out bit that goes into the hole right by there. So let's put them into there. You can see we got a fairly good snug fit there. Around that way. Okay, so the next bit, we want piece number 2, piece number 4, piece number 5. So let's start with piece number 2 and see if we can find that. So piece number 2 is the piece at the very top here. So let's snip that out. And then piece number 4. And piece number 5 should be easy to find because it should be his head. So let's remove his head from the sprue. Okay. Take our model up again, and again we've got the little holes and the spikes to attach them. So this piece is number 4. It goes on by there, and you just line the parts up and push them on. Like so. And let's put this part. So these are shin guards. So we put this part on there. We can get it to line up. Can be a little bit fiddly, especially if you're old like me. Come on, mister. Get in. There we go. So now we've got his shin guards attached to his legs. His legs are attached to his body. And we are going to put his little head on his neck. Let's make sure we turn it the right way up. You can see the little sticky out bit. Very technical, this video. Put the little sticky out bit, line it up with the hole, and put it in. And there we go. He is in, his head is in. Light isn't very helpful here, unfortunately, but you can see his head is now in the head area. So next we are going to look for pieces 6 and 7. So let's find them on here. So that is number 6. Where are we still connected? There. And now when doing these, it's quite important because if they're connectors, you need to have them cut just right. You don't want to cut the connector off. That would be disastrous. So that's that one. So we have number 6, and now we need number 7. Now it's getting much easier because there aren't very many pieces left to cut off. Unless, of course, you drop your cutters. Okay, so let's see, how are we putting those on? So we want the foot with a bit of rock on it, facing forwards. If it will stand up. And then we want the curved chest plate in the front and this back piece in the back. So let's find where that snugs into. Always better to do a dry fit. So it looks like that should go there. And then this should clip on just there. Just gonna try to get it. Doesn't look quite right. But if we look, if I slide that over, it shows you how it should look. And that does indeed look as though it's on correctly. Doesn't look, still not quite right though. His head is very hard to see. I'm thinking those should actually be connecting up. So let's see if we put this on there. Yeah, they do connect. So let's try that again. Should go against the back. There. So let's keep trying to get this to go on. So we know that those should line up, but they don't seem to want to. Why is that? Something I feel to do. Oh, that's sitting in there properly. It looks as though that part should be there, which opens that up. And then that part should go there. So here you can see one of the very first things. Now this is meant to be a beginner's model, and yet, so we can see the joins there are correct, so they should be fitting on there perfectly. And if we line them up, okay, that's better. So let's have our model, which still doesn't want to stand up on his own. But you can see here, look, all the detail that I was talking about, all the runic writing on his armor, the lines of power, the skulls. Now you still can't see his face in there. It's just simply too dark. You can see it a little bit, I suppose. But there you go. So that's that part. So now we're going to turn over and see what else is needed. So let's try to focus. So now it looks as though we have to attach the arms on the weapons. So what have we got? We've got an arm here. We got an axe here. That looks like there's part of a weapon on here. Not entirely sure what that is. It looks like a hand with fingers and something hanging off it. Which I would guess is going to go on the arm. And that perhaps is part of a weapon. And then this here and this here are the shoulder pads. I have no clue what that is yet. So let's work this out. Move that over there. So, yeah. 8, 9, and 10 are going to go together and form the left arm. So let's give that a go. 8, 9, and 10. So that's 9. So let's remove that. That's 10, the hand. So yeah, looks like I guessed that one just right. Doesn't want to come off that. So let's finagle that off. And then number 8. And let's see. So there's the hand. Looks like it slides onto that there. And where does this bit go? Guessing we might need little bits of glue. So there should be, no, I found it. A little sticky out bit there and a little sticky out bit there. So those are going to connect. And there we have a hand holding some kind of medallion. I'm guessing a holy symbol of some sort, being as no, he's a librarian. Maybe it's a special key to the library, gets him into a secret door or a restricted door, like in Harry Potter or something. Anyway, so there's a tiny bit of the sprue where I've not connected and where I've not cut it. So that's one thing to be careful of. Make sure you cut the bits off, because especially with a push start, push to fit things, they don't connect together correctly if you don't do that. And we can see there is the shoulder joint there. So this is meant to be his left arm. So let's put that on. Now that's not an easy one. So it should, according to this, come straight out and forwards. Just like that. Okay. We have the final arm to do. So piece number 12 is the final part of the arm, which I'm guessing obviously is the axe part. So let's remove this. What have we missed? We nothing. Excellent. Slide that out of there. So we're going to attach this final part, and we can see that is a nice, easy, straightforward attachment point there. So that goes on there. And then now, for those of you that are old enough, like me, to remember Dallas and Dynasty and crazy swept back huge shoulder pads, well, these are just hilarious. So if you can see, hopefully see the detail on this piece. So this curved edge here is going to be the top, this edge is going to be the bottom. So let us so the fancy one is going on the gun arm. So here we can see the connector point, and the point that it connects to is just inside there. You might just about be able to see it. So let's put that on his arm. And then this one, a bit easier to see the connector point. That is going to connect. Should be a connector there, with that sitting on there. But it looks like it's missing, so we are going to have to use a bit of glue. And when I say it's missing, what that generally means is I accidentally cut it off. So before we go blaming Games Workshop for doing a dodgy model, let's be real, I probably cut it off. However, these are quite straightforward to attach, just a little bit of glue, and I say that like I've done it before. And I'm not going to confirm or deny whether that's true. I might have done that bits before. So let's put that onto there. Stick that on there. The glue will start to work in a few moments. 30 seconds or so generally is enough for it to become tacky and hold itself on. You want to leave it a little bit longer though if it's a big important joint like a leg joint or something, because the weight of the pieces can sometimes pull them apart. So press it, hold it firmly for probably 30 seconds, 20-30 seconds, especially with one of these smaller parts, and you can let it go. And then we just have to put it on the base. Now this base, as you can see, it's got 2 holes. There is only one piece there. So the other one is for that last little bit, which I wasn't sure what it was for. So that's this bit here. So this is some kind of decoration, I guess. So when you're making your models, usually you're going to paint them, and you're going to have some kind of decoration, either through paint, or you attach some plastic plant life, or there's a bunch of things you can do. I like to use things like this. You can buy boxes where they come with bits. So what I like to do is I will take a piece out of one of these screws. They're all really small, so let me use that one. Well, we will see now how much space there is. So this one is going to go, looking at this, we want the holes on that side, and the back foot is going to go into that hole there. Now I am going to put a little bit of glue on there, because sometimes they don't hold very well. So I'm just going to put a little bit of glue around the outside of that hole. And then if we push that in like that, and then I'm going to put a tiny little bit of glue just underneath the rocks there, and that will hold the front foot firmly against the base. So with that in mind, let's put a tiny little bit of glue around the decoration hole. Make sure the skull piece is facing forward. Maybe I should have done it the other way around. Yeah, I definitely should have done it the other way around. We will now slide that, hopefully somehow, into that. Where's my nail? So let's put that somehow in. You would think that it will be straightforward and easy, because, you know, children do this, right? Or maybe I'm just old and past it. Either way, it is now in there. The glue is starting to dry. I can feel it starting to bond. So let's turn it into the light so you can start to see. And on the bottom, look, you can see where the 2 pieces have come through. So they're looking good. So all that's left to do when that little bit of glue dries is prime and then paint. Now I am going to do some painting shortly. So the reason why I've done this build here, and this is the first time I've done this model, first time I've seen it, didn't take too long, 30 minutes ish, is because the model that I made the other day in the Games Workshop store for their model of the month, I wasn't able to actually record the assembly part in the store. So what I'm going to do though is I am going to get that model and paint it next. well, first prime it and then paint it. So bear with me just a moment. Welcome back to the painting section of this video today for our hobby hangout here on 40k Painter. So this isn't going to be a video on the actual airbrush itself. I will do one at some point in the future, but this video is just basically to do some painting. Again, just a reminder that I am a complete novice at this. So much so that when I actually got this airbrush through, I left it in the box for probably 2 to 3 weeks because I was too scared of taking it out of the box and trying to put it together. So don't be like me. This is a really, really easy to use airbrush. Harder and Steenbeck. It's precision made in Germany, and it is extremely user-friendly for novices. In fact, it's actually designed purely for novices, and I will talk about the airbrush itself in a later video, but it is very easy to use. So let me just start by opening it up and showing it to you. So I have connected the compressor all together. It's hidden on the floor, it's currently switched off, but you will probably hear the noise of the compressor during this, so don't worry too much. It's not very noisy, but this video will then hopefully allow people to understand how much noise it's likely to make. So here's the box. As you can see, extremely nice, well made. Pop it open and take the card out. You got the card there for the website and website details and stuff. And this then is the airbrush. This is the paint cup where you mix the paints before you do it. And then here is the airbrush. Now, being ex-military, first thing I did when I got this was take it apart, put it back together again. I'm very much of the opinion that you should know how to strip and assemble and clean your gear. So I will do a video, like I said, on it at a later date, but this is just going to be for painting. This is the Ultra 2024 model, and as I said, it's designed for novices. It's a beautiful, you can see, beautiful chrome. Very briefly, this bit here is the back, this bit here is the front, or as we used to say, this is the danger bit. This is where the paint comes out. This is where you connect it to the air compressor, which I should do in a moment. This is the trigger. Now there's very little movement in there. It's really nicely made, and the idea with this model is that it's a dual action model. You have to push down before you can pull back. So when you're holding it, now I'm left-handed, so I'm going to be moving around in a minute, but you would basically do that: push down, pull back, push down, pull back. Okay. Here we have this collar, or they call it a collar, which you're probably not going to be able, or maybe you can see. It's got writing on the collar. So base, prime, 1, 2, 3. So what you do, the way this is designed, is you turn this around, and you can hear it click as I turn it. This will, depending on what setting you use, so I'm going to be priming to begin with, so I've got it on the prime setting there. It will limit how far you can pull this back. So if you see here, when it's on prime, there's quite a long movement because the notch is quite big. But as I move it to the different settings, so this is setting 1, much less that I can move it back. Setting 2, even less. Setting 3, even less. Base is a little bit more. And we're back to coming back around to prime again. So very, very quick introduction. So let me get this connected. Pink up here. It's very easy to use. You just push it in to the hole there. Screw it tight. It's beautiful, beautiful, really easy to use piece of equipment. So let's move these out of the way. So I'm gonna prime 2 models. I'm gonna prime the model of the month, which you saw pictures of previously. So that's this one here. I made this in the Games Workshop store. That's the compressor coming on, if you can hear it. So I'm going to firstly prime this. So I'm going to put that there. And I'm also going to be priming the model that we just made, which is the Librarian Space Marine. So let's put that in the corner there. Okay, so let's get on with doing some airbrushing. So again, excuse me, this is just priming. So set it to prime. I've got my air pressure down around 25. Just gonna hold this roughly, probably not able to see at this point, but roughly 1 hand's width this away, like so. And then we're just going to slowly start to apply the prime. Now we don't put too much on. We just want to cover the model. Nice, even. Might be a little bit too high actually. So I'm just gonna turn down the air pressure slightly. Yeah, it might be a little bit too high pressure on that one. Just get the last few bits there. Making sure we get into all the nooks and crannies. And that'll do quite nicely for that one. Just hang my brush up. Yeah, it's got a release thing on it so that when you put the brush in the hanger, it will stop. And then let's do this one. Now, there's all kinds of paints and things and primers that you can buy. Personally, I started off with using the spray cans, the rattle cans that they sometimes get called. I found that I got they're very quick, they're very easy, but you get let's say you get some rather difficult results sometimes. They don't flow, the paint doesn't flow very well when the weather's cold. You need to do it outside in a really big air ventilated space. in a big garage or in your back garden, something like that, which again, this time of year in the winter is not great, because you get wet, and of course you won't be spray painting things in the garden in the rain, because you'll just ruin your models. If you spray too hard in one place, then the thickness of the paint coat will basically hide the detail of the models. And again, if you're paying a large amount of money to buy these models and put them together, you don't want to ruin them by putting too much glue on and melting away the models, and likewise you don't want to ruin them by putting too much paint on and covering the detail. So you'll hear the compressor start up again. I'll just pull my glasses back down so I can see. Now this is the Librarian. So again, at the moment we're just putting the prime on it. This isn't the base layer. This isn't base layer will go on top of this once this is done and dry. Now what I found with using these airbrush to put the primer on is that you've got much better control. You can control the thickness of it, you can control how long you blast, so each sort of depression on the trigger, but also it is significantly quicker. So I've just done 2 models there very quickly. The rattle cans are quicker again, because obviously the models, the best way to do them are still on the sprues, so you can do an entire box really quickly. Or you can use, so this is the War Painter range. These are really good. So this is a brush on primer, so you would paint it on just like painting on a normal layer with a paintbrush, or you can put it into the airbrush. Now I've heard lots of people give me different answers, but the majority of the answers I get are to put an equal mix. So when you put it into the cup, you will put a dilutant. So in this case, again, I'm using the Army Painter paint medium. So you would put that in first. You always want to put that in first, never the paint. And then you would put an equal number, so a 50-50 ratio. So for the moment, I've put in 10 drops of the medium and 10 drops of the primer. Giving it a good sort of stir to mix it all up properly, and as you saw there, that was extremely quick. So I do have a few other models, so you'll hear some crunching as I open the box and get them out. So one of the other model teams, if you like, that I've made up a kill team, not because I want to play the kill team game, but because some of the models are not available in Warhammer 40k boxes, so you have to actually buy the models as their kill team. The models are exactly the same. They may have slightly different abilities in kill team, because the rules of kill team are slightly different, but the weapons, etc., are all the same. So this is this little droid. This kill team set is from the Tau Empire. These are Vespid Stingwings. You get them 11 in a box if you buy the kill team box. That's 10 of the Stingwings, and one of these little itty bitty droids here. So what I'm gonna do very quickly is just use up what I've got. And paint these two, or rather prime these two. But what I love about doing it this way, doing it in batches like this, is that by the time, I mean, I'm going a little bit slow because I'm making a video, and to be honest, I don't have enough brain cells to multitask and talk and move models around and do what needs to be done all at the same time. So I'm going quite slow, but I'm still getting through them very quickly. So let's do this one. Let's put my glasses on again so I can see. I mean, to be honest, this particular model set is really small and easy. So doing it with a paintbrush probably wouldn't be that much slower. Might even be faster for these small models, but nonetheless, I need to practice with the airbrush, and the more you practice, the faster you get. Remember, being a complete noob to it myself, I'm not an expert. I'm not very fast. It takes me longer to do things. Yeah, I just realised you probably cannot see what I'm doing because the camera's in the way. Because my hand is in the way. That's a bit dull, isn't it? How about that? Can you hopefully get a better view of what I'm doing? Maybe not. But hopefully it should be fairly obvious. I can see that I'm getting to the bottom of the cup. So I'm gonna take that off, put that into the bag, and let's move these out of the way, make it easier for you to see in the future. What I'm going to do is refill the cup. So, like I said, take your medium. Now, you don't have to use speed paint medium. I use it because I like the army painter range. Excuse me. My cold still hasn't gone away. You could just use water. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So 15 drops of medium this time. Take my spray on primer sometime today. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, 13, 14, 15. The reason why I like these ones, as you can see, they're a dropper bottle. It makes it much easier to work out how much you're using. The other type of paint that I use regularly is the Citadel color range. These aren't in dropper bottles, so it's much harder to count out and work out the ratios of how much you're adding. So the next thing you want to do, give it a little mix. Now I'm using a chopstick. I'm just gonna swirl it around, give it all a mix up, make sure it is all done nicely, and I'm gonna hang the brush there just to switch the noise off for a moment, and stand these up a bit, make them not look like a mess on my table. So I'm not going to use that because it just takes twice as long. So painting these with the primer, I can do quite a few. When you get into the groove and I'm not trying to multitask, I can get these done quite quickly. So I primed, let's say, probably about 1/3 to 2/3 of my Age of Sigmar army. I assembled them and primed them and painted them in 4 days, which as a novice was pretty good. I mean, I'm not doing them to the level that you see some people doing them online, where they're just doing absolutely amazing effects, and I have every respect, having played with this now for a little while, I've got every respect for the people who do that, because it's an insanely big learning curve, and I'm really enjoying it, but I've got a long way to go before I get to the level of some of the other people I see online. So I'm just, like I say, just priming these. So we're just going to squeeze through these now, just get these last models out of the way. The good thing, of course, with these is that because there's air moving over them as a spray, then the air that blows over them helps them to dry. So the prime actually dries quicker than it would if you were painting it on. You may also note that I'm doing intermittent blasts with the air brush rather than constant streams, and that's actually pretty important. You don't want to just press the trigger and hold it down like a machine gun, because it isn't a machine gun, and if you do that, then the nib, the needle inside, will get clogged up, and it will become less efficient, and ultimately will stop working, and you'll have to completely kind of take it apart and clean it. So that goes back to what I was saying before about the first thing I did when I did start doing this, was I completely stripped and cleaned and reassembled and learned how the airbrush works. And if I do it, bring the camera around to the middle there, might make it a bit, yes, that's a bit easier. Should have done that the first time. Okay, so make yourself. Next video, put the camera in the middle, not off to one side. In case you're wondering, I am also new to the content creation, and so I'm learning how to make the videos and how to edit the videos and how to put it all together, whilst at the same time learning how to use the airbrush, and also how to assemble the models. So, I mean, you know, go big or go home, right? But it's fun. It is an expensive hobby, and if you buy direct from Games Workshop, then you're gonna fork out a lot of money. It's that simple. It's not cheap. However, most of the stores will do big discounts, and I've not actually figured out how that works. how a third-party retailer will sell the exact same box of miniatures for 10 or 15% cheaper than Games Workshop does in their own stores. Financially, that doesn't make sense to me. But there's a couple of stores that I would recommend locally to me, so probably not much use to you. But they do have a website and you can order online. We have a store called MIB Models. MIB Models do a variety of different things, not just Warhammer 40k. They do a whole host of different models, AFX kits, boats, planes, trains, you name it, they do it. So it's worth giving them a check out. And one of the things that they do is they host games of all of the various different things. So Age of Sigmar, Warhammer 40k, etc. They do that for free, which is really nice, and run by a father and son team who are very helpful, very kind, and it looks like oh my god, oh I know what I've done. Okay, let's turn this down a bit more, because I have the air pressure way too high, which is not a problem when it comes to these and priming, but it will be a problem when it comes to painting. You really need to control the pressure on these, because otherwise you get splattering and all sorts. So yes, MIB Models in Bridgend, excellent modelling store. My other favourite is Firestone Games. Firestone Games is really helpful, and the guy who runs it in Bridgend, his name is Dan, and he is really, really good. Dan and Callum, who is, I guess, the other full-time employee there, they are both really nice. I mean, all the staff there are really nice, and I really like going there. And you get a really good discount from them, and they have a whole bunch of tables out in the back where you can excuse me, where you can spend time gaming, but also you can go there and do model making and model painting. You can't use airbrushes there, they don't like that, but regular painting. So we go there quite a lot. Excuse me. And we've run out of paint again. Let me just get an idea of. A little bit too high. Turn it down a bit more. Okay. So let's mix the paints again. I'm just trying to figure out how I can make that stay off by putting something on it that's heavy enough to hold it off. There you go, that worked. Genius. So do this again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 25-ish. It's a bit of an ish one, that one, because it came out really quick. So let's do a similar-ish number. Now, the other way of mixing these, rather than counting the drops, I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to show you. Doing a little bit more. And let's go for a stir. So let's see. I don't know how well this is gonna show up when you give a stir. And what you're looking for is the liquid should be the consistency of milk. If you're making a nice cup of tea, then the liquid should be the consistency of a nice cup of tea. Kind of looks right. And there's a couple of ways to tell if you've done it right or not. I'm not going to go into that in this video because it'll take a bit of a while to explain, and B, I'm going to actually do a video on using this bad boy, taking it apart, putting it back together, and so on later. So for now, I'm just going to crack on with priming. So let's get on with the priming. That's better. Oh, no, it would help if I took the thing off and turned the compressor back on. Yay! It's been a long day. That's looking much better as it's going on, actually. I think I've got the air mixture right now as well. I think one thing to remember is not to be scared of it. At the end of the day, it's a tool. It's a tool that you use to enhance your hobby experience. And if you don't enjoy using it, don't use it. Simple as that, really. You know, don't stress, don't make yourself ill. Definitely don't panic over it. You know, not everybody uses an airbrush. Some people do, some people don't. Some people don't like them. I myself, I'm really enjoying it, but I use a combination of airbrush and regular paintbrush because I don't have the skill level to do the really complicated stuff yet, to make all of the really amazing patterns and glow effects, and one of the things I really struggle with is the fine detail. So when you look at this, I'll turn it around in a second. If you look at the face on this, or the wing detail, you can see, you know, the teeth. This is an insectoid creature with mandibles, and you can see, you know, multiple eyes. They're really, really hard to do, and I just can't do them. I don't have the skill to do them yet, but I'm gonna push on, and ultimately, if I keep using it, I'll keep learning, and hopefully I'll keep getting better. My painting skills will improve with it, but for the moment what I do is I do the big stuff with this. Put my glasses back on. I do the big stuff with this, and then I'll get my paintbrush out and use my paintbrush to do the detailed stuff. And as I said, one of the important things I've learned when you're doing this is not to just scatter fire, because scatter fire doesn't work. It clogs your airbrush up, it makes it all gloopy and lumpy, and it's not the way to go. So take your time. Definitely got some in there, so maybe I've turned it a bit too low. mean, I can see the color changing as I'm applying the prime. I don't know if it's showing too well. So maybe I'll just turn it up just a tiny bit. One more left after this one. Let's go. Now, one thing I would highly recommend is, depending on how busy you are and when you get to do this kind of stuff, you may want to invest in gloves. Some people use gloves, some people don't. You can see I'm not using gloves. I spent a lot of my life, I'm quite old, I've spent a lot of my life wearing gloves in my job in healthcare, and I don't really feel the need to wear gloves when I'm painting. Yes, it is much easier to clean up afterwards, and you can, washing the paint off, but to be honest, washing the paint off isn't really much of a thing anyway. I don't think. However, where I recommend you maybe think about what you're doing is when you have meetings with in your day job, maybe not paint beforehand, or definitely wear gloves. I recently went to a meeting with my boss and another member of my company, and completely forgot that just before that morning I had been painting pink horrors and blue horrors, and I decided for a laugh that I was going to make the pink horrors sparkly pink, and the blue horrors I decided to make sparkly blue with all fairy dust and stuff. And yeah, turning up to a meeting with your boss where your hands are covered with sparkly pink, sparkly blue and fairy dust is a bit awkward. Luckily they saw the funny side. But as you can see, look, from my hands here, there's not a lot of paint on my hands, just a tiny little bit. So, don't be scared of it. Don't be afraid of getting a bit mucky. Just get in, enjoy using it, have fun with it, and if you don't like it, move on to something else. It's no big deal. Let me turn the thing off again. So that's me priming. Now you'll notice I did those 10, 11 with a little droid. Those models much faster, because you get into the groove of it, you start doing them, and before you know it, you've finished. And that's why I love using my airbrush. A little bit later on, I will do the next steps. I'm not going to do them now. I have to finish this video because I have some other work to do. And I will do the base coating and highlighting, and then use the regular brushes for the fine detail work. So I hope I haven't bored you stupid. I hope that it's been a little bit of a helpful short video. If you have any questions, then please put them in the chat. If you have any suggestions, if you're more experienced and you have some suggestions of things that work better for you, please let me know, because it's the only way I'll learn. And as I say, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe buttons, so that this video will get shared out to and seen by more people. Thank you very much for your time, and I will see you again soon.